What's up, my comic comrades? Since House of X and Powers of 10 have been released, the X-Men universe has been turned on its head. And one of the biggest revelations Jonathan Hickman has given us within the books is an official list for the known Omega Level Mutants in the Marvel Universe, which consists of 14 mutants. So I thought it'd be fun to run down talking about said Omega Level Mutants a bit and give you all a brief overview of each character. But first off, for those of you who don't know what an Omega Level Mutant is, it's a classification that was coined for the first time in Uncanny X-Men issue 208 in 1986. It's basically a way to describe a mutant who has an undefinable upper limit to their power, or as the official definition says, a mutant whose dominant power is deemed to register or reach an undefinable upper limit of that power's specific classification. In short, off the charts crazy powerful with a particular power. Like the example given to us in House of X issue 1, Jean Grey is both a telepath and a telekinetic, but she's only an Omega level telepath. But now that you know what an Omega level mutant is, on with the ones we know exist. First up, let's talk about Jean Grey, aka Marvel Girl, since I already mentioned her. I will say most people are already familiar with Jean Grey. She's one of the 5 original X-Men and the most reoccurring host for the Phoenix Force. She's a telekinetic and telepath, but it's her telepathy that makes her an Omega level mutant. Jean is able to use her telepathy in a ton of different ways, such as mind communication, mind reading, mind transferal, erase someone's memories, increase another mutant's power, decrease another mutant's power, change someone's personality, do psychic surgery, cast near flawless illusions, project her astral form, control the astral plane, create psychic links with other beings, and all sorts of mind manipulation. Essentially, since your brain controls your body, she can almost do anything to anyone. She's pretty dang OP, as all the characters on this list are. Next up, we have Jamie Braddock. He's Psylocke and Captain Britain's brother. His power is the ability to interact and perceive reality on a quantum level. So much so, he sees reality as an endless web of strings that he can manipulate. Because of this ability, Jamie can reshape reality itself. He can also reshape humans to the point where he can morph them into other people entirely. And let's not forget, he can control and manipulate all manners of energy. I'm only 2 in, and I think you guys already get the point that Omega level mutants are insanely overpowered. And people say DC characters are way too OP. Moving along, we have Bobby Drake, aka Iceman. Iceman can reduce the temperature of anything to absolute 0 and turn the moisture in air to ice, which allows him to make ice slides, ice armor, and spikes, all the stuff we know Iceman for. But the thing that makes him an Omega level mutant is the fact that Iceman doesn't emanate cold. He instead decreases thermal energy, meaning he has the power to influence the ecosystem of the entire world, as mentioned by writer Mike Carey. In short, his power gives him the ability to affect the entire world, which makes him an Omega level mutant. Also, on more of a badass note, he could theoretically freeze the moisture in your body, freezing you from the inside out. Terrifying, but awesome. Now we have Josh Foley, aka Elixir. Elixir was once a student at the Xavier Institute. As for his ability, he has biological manipulation, which allows him to restore life or take it. Essentially, he can manipulate organic material on a genetic level and use it to heal someone or kill someone. For instance, one of his classmates' heart was taken by an enemy and he just grew a new one for said classmate. Also, he has the capacity to alter his own genetic code, which is one of the reasons he's considered an Omega level mutant. Next up, we have Charles Xavier's son, aka Legion. I already did a history of episode on this character a while ago when his FX show debuted, but in short, Legion has hundreds upon hundreds of mutant powers. Said powers range from reality warping to telekinesis, time manipulation, emotional control, pain induction, soul absorption, super strength, pyrokinesis, telepathy, and the list goes on for days. With that said, each of his powers are controlled by a different personality, and he has thousands of personalities, so just imagine. In any case, since he has so many abilities, several of which are insane, like reality warping and time manipulation, it's easy to see why he's an Omega level mutant. But then of course we have Magneto. As any X-Men fan knows, Magneto is the master of magnetism. But I'm not just talking about how he could bend and control metal, because he can, but he also can perceive the magnetic forces of the Earth, as well as the biological patterns in all living beings. Because of his ability to manipulate magnetic fields, he can theoretically alter and destroy the Earth's magnetic field, killing everything on Earth. So much like Iceman, he's Omega level because he could alter the entire planet and or destroy it. Next up, we have Proteus. Putting it simply, this is an insane mutant who has the power to warp the very fabric of reality itself. Now, I'm sure you're seeing a trend here where a lot of Omega level mutants have reality warping abilities, because I mean, that's an insane power, literally warping reality. Anyway, what's unique with him is that he exists as living energy that could essentially inhabit a human body. But with that said, he constantly has to hop from body to body because the energies that he controls literally burn out living flesh. That's kind of gross. Then we have Mr. M, who has the ability of matter manipulation. With his psionic abilities, he has power over pretty much anything at an atomic level, which means he can do virtually anything his mind can imagine. And here's the crazy part. It's been said that if he was to reach his full potential, he could possibly be beyond an Omega Level Mutant, which is all kinds of nuts. What I'm saying is, he's gonna go Goku up in here, creating new forms like every other week. Next up is fan favorite X-Men, Storm. Her Omega Level power is weather manipulation. When you really think of it, it makes all the sense in the world that she's an Omega Level Mutant, because she has the power to manipulate weather, meaning she could create the worst natural disasters the world has ever seen by creating global hyperstorms that could cover the entire planet, destroying all life itself. What I'm saying is, she could literally pull a Noah's Ark, except she wouldn't be Noah, she would be God, flooding the entire planet and resetting everything. So again, just like Iceman, she has the power to influence the ecosystem of the entire world. Yet somehow she's underrated when she's one of the most powerful superheroes in all of Marvel. Moving along yet again, we have Exodus. Exodus has insane telekinetic abilities. He is easily one of the most powerful telekinetics in all of Marvel. With these abilities, he could also lift extremely heavy objects, generate highly durable force fields, and create insane energy blasts. He could also use his psionic powers to increase his strength and durability. In terms of telekinetic power, he's up there with the likes of Jean Grey. But we still got several more to talk about. And now we have Kid Omega, whose primary powers are telepathy and hyperintelligence, but his Omega level power is telepathy. I've talked about telepathy so much on this list already, there's not much more to say about it besides he's an extremely powerful telepath. Although I will say there was one time where he locked Wolverine in a memory loop. That's not nice. But something pretty cool Kid Omega can do is he can make psychic constructs, similar to that of the Green Lantern Corps, except not. But in any case, let's move on to Franklin Richards, aka Powerhouse. This one should be no surprise to anyone, as everyone's known he's an Omega level mutant for a long time now. And of course, he's the son of Reed and Sue Storm. To make this simple, even as a kid, he's one of the most powerful beings in the universe. He has vast reality warping and psionic powers, but the kicker is, he has complete control over the fundamental forces of the universe. Roma, the guardian of all realities, said that his power level is equal to the freaking Celestials. You know, the beings that created the mutants in the first place. I'm just gonna leave that there because how do you top that? We also have Vulcan, who has the ability to manipulate all known forms of energy. He's the forgotten third Summers brother who would later become a tyrannical emperor. To really drive home how crazy his energy manipulation powers are, Charles Xavier said that he's the most powerful energy manipulator he's ever seen. And considering Charles Xavier has access to every mutant on the planet through Cerebro, I'm gonna say that's nuts. And last, but certainly not least, we have Hope Summers. Hope has the ability of power manipulation and power mimic. That's right, she can manipulate or mimic the powers from mutants that are near her, which obviously makes her Omega level because that means she can mimic the powers of other Omega level mutants. It's also speculated that Hope has all the powers of the mutant race, as she's been called the voodoo doll of the mutant race. Not bad. Not bad at all. But just like that, my friends, that is every known Omega level mutant in the Marvel Universe. The official list given to us by writer Jonathan Hickman himself in House of X, issue 1. But let us know what you think of these mutants and who you would like to see be revealed as an Omega level mutant in the future. Other than that, if you like the show, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. But I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.